All right, welcome back to Game Link Podcast. I'm your host Lebby, and this is my friend Elmer.
I'm Elmer.
If you don't know about the podcast, this is a podcast where we review and talk about video game movies. So we'll talk about the development and production of the video game and the movie, and then review it. And it's a lot of fun. This is episode 5. We will be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. But before we get into that, it's been a couple weeks. So what have you been up to? How was your holidays and all that stuff?
Well, considering I live and work 2 weeks from my actual work, where I am a small claims loan adjuster, appraiser, as well as pawnbroker. And so basically I work both as somebody who gives out money as well as somebody who works in retail simultaneously. So the past 2 weeks have been excruciating. But other than that, I'm over the hump now and everything's looking pretty fly and pretty good for the rest of the season. How about yourself, man?
Well, I mean, it's been busy with work. Obviously, I think everything gets busier before the holidays, but
Well, I mean, I was going to say, you of all people, you work as, not to give too much away for spoilers for people out there, but he's an HR rep for a major airline. Not for the people flying the plane for pleasure. He does for the people who have to take all the bullshit from the pleasure people.
Internal customers, yeah. So it's been real busy. We got a lot of big stuff going on to like wrap up the year with, and so it's been crazy, but I've managed to play a little bit more Final Fantasy 14, which if you haven't been following the news around that game, they released their last expansion to finish up the story they've been building for almost a decade. And once they did, the whole game just got flooded with people coming back to finish the story and new players to come in and experience it. And like the servers got so overloaded that they actually had to like cancel all purchases of the game and cancel all new account creations and just kind of say like, we're not accepting any new players right now until we get some more servers. Because of the chip shortage, they can't just add more servers. So for a while there, it was like I'd go to log on to play the game and it'd be like, your position in queue is like 6,000 something. And it's like it would just take all day to even just play. So it has been a little better recently, but that might just be because of the holidays. So we'll see. But yeah, I got to play a little bit of that. And what I've been watching Parks and Rec again, so it's kind of coincidental that we've been watching that, and John Ralphio is the voice of Sonic. So what's his name? James Schwartz or John?
Bill Schwartz, and thank you. You just took about 3 minutes out of my monologue, you prick. No.
Well, yeah. So when we were watching Parks and Rec, it was just kind of interesting because John Ralphio goes and does something obnoxious, and and then I tell my girlfriend like, oh yeah, that's the voice of Sonic. She's like, oh god, I'm cringing too hard right now. So, but yeah, it's been a pretty good couple weeks here. I got to see my family and got a nice like knife sharpener and a couple stuff, so like yeah, it's been pretty good.
And I guess I should say, I, for Christmas, received something called, which I never heard of till now, but doing a little bit of research, it's pretty cool. I received from my family something called a green, pardon me, a green egg grill. Basically a smart grill. It's a combination of an electric as well as a wood chip or charcoal or whatever you want to have for it grill. And I can literally start the thing when I'm at work, walk home, and it'll be ready to rock and roll.
Just like Wi-Fi?
It can be Wi-Fi enabled.
That's awesome.
I did not know this thing existed 48 hours ago, but I can tell you right now, for the past 36, I've been doing nothing but research on what I can and cannot do with this thing.
Don't you get them a new grill like every few years?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but yeah, now they're giving me a grill instead, and it's just like, man, yeah, I'll take it. Cool. Yeah, and then I also got a puppy. So I'm trying to figure out how I can combine it, but I don't know of a really good side to pair with Beagle, so I don't think that's gonna happen. Sorry.
Yeah, can't grill the dog, but
No.
yeah, no. And I've seen his new dog, and it is adorable. What'd you name her?
Oh well, it was her name before. It was basically somebody, family member of ours had to move. So in the move, they had to get rid of one of her or a couple of her dogs. And so then I got a Beagle Basset by the name of Carol Ann, just like from Poltergeist. Don't go into the light, Carol Ann. But yeah, just a spunkiest, tiniest, little legged running around Beagle Basset you can imagine. So
That's awesome.
and she woos too, so that's the best part.
Oh, too cute.
As I say, somebody who owns a Basset Hound and Blue Heeler mix, you can
Yeah.
appreciate the woos. I know.
Oh yeah, they get loud sometimes. But yeah, I can't wait to meet her. Looks adorable. But yeah, I guess let's start talking about Sonic the Hedgehog a little bit. If anyone didn't already know, if you've never watched my Twitch streams before, I'm a huge Sonic fan. And by huge, I mean like at my desk at work, I have a canvas painting of Sonic hanging up in my cubicle, and I have on the shelves above our heads behind me, I have like a big statue of Sonic on a Sega Genesis, Sonic backpack, and just I love Sonic. So
We have in our midst here, ladies and gentlemen, the last proud patron to Chris Chan right here.
proud patron to Chris Chan? I don't know about that.
Proud, no. Patron, maybe.
Yeah, I guess you got me there. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. I guess the first time I played it, I was real little. I remember my grandmother's neighbors had some grandkids around my age, and I would go over there to play with them. And I remember playing the first Sonic on the Sega Mega Drive, and I was just pretty much obsessed from then on. But let's see here. So, if you didn't know, Sonic the Hedgehog released in 1991. The game designer Hirokazu Yasuhara and the character designer Naoto Oshima said that they chose a hedgehog because it's a creature that you can imagine doing damage when rolled up in a ball. But he originally started as a rabbit, so like you can go and look up the original like drawings and concept designs of Sonic, where he's like a blue rabbit with long ears, like really cartoony.
Just thinking about it now, though, it wouldn't have quite rolled off the tongue as well, but Sonic the Porcupine would have also worked. But, I mean, they wouldn't even have to have changed the character design. But at the same time, too many syllables. Yeah, Hedgehog better.
Definitely. Well, and they also considered making him an armadillo, a porcupine, a dog, and a surly old guy with a mustache, which they ended up reusing the character design for Dr. Eggman.
Oh, I thought you were going to say for Mario, and I was going to say, I think your timeline's a little off there, pal.
No, they wanted something to rival Mario, and I think a guy with a mustache as the mascot would have been too close.
Instead, it's a Abe Lincoln chin strap.
Yeah, so Oshima says he planned a trip to New York while the character discussion was happening internally, knowing that the team wanted to see examples of characters like along those lines, like roll up into a ball and stuff. So he sketched a few out on boards in Central Park and started showing random people walking by, just to kind of like gauge the reactions. And obviously the hedgehog was most popular because people pointed at it and really liked it. But then the second choice was Eggman, and then the third choice was a dog.
Now I'm just imagining walking around Central Park in 1990 and having some random Japanese guy who probably doesn't speak great English going, "What do you see? What do you see? Here's $1. Just yeah, great.
Take the girl, leave us alone."
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so he says he asked himself why people would always choose the hedgehog, and eventually he settled on the answer that people chose the hedgehog because it was cute and it, quote, transcends race and gender and things like that. So he brought the sketches back and decided to pitch the Hedgehog as the game's mascot.
Well, I think we just found Japan's David Lynch. Holy shit.
Yeah, transcends gender. Yeah. Um, so while they were designing the character, Oshima said that the idea was to make something striking that could also be drawn by children. So they focused on two big points. They wanted it to be like round, basic shapes, and then they wanted the like the connected eyes, and I guess that also kind of included spiky skin along with like the round stuff. Um,
So they literally created Kirby's Yang to Kirby's Yin.
yeah, pretty much like simple, like eye catching. Like they wanted him to be like to feel comfortable and familiar, as well as the name being easy to pronounce. Um, so they wanted, yeah, they just wanted a character that would like be a really good mascot. So they made him blue, like the logo, and they just figured like, yeah, something like cute with a cool attitude, like a blue hedgehog would be good for the youth-oriented brand. And yeah, and when I say like cool, they didn't mean like, leather jacket, sunglasses cool. They meant like a little bit of a snarky attitude, like little bit of like a bad boy, rebellious little kid type cool.
Congratulations, guys. You made Bart Simpson on Meth, the video game.
Well, then they've also redesigned Sonic a few times since the original design, which the original I think is my favorite because it's like almost like a chibi version of Sonic where he's like short and round and cute. Like the redesign that they did for the 3D games was really good also. But we're just not going to talk about Sonic Boom. we
You just gave me a look like I should know what this is, and I'm just like,
so I can show you a picture later, but they redesigned Sonic and pretty much all the characters for Sonic Boom, which was a Nintendo exclusive Sonic game on the Wii U that ran like trash. It had a bunch of glitches, and they like redesigned all the character models to have like bandages wrapped around their arms, and like it was just not the greatest. I don't know. Some people will disagree, but
well, it's Sonic. I mean, someone's masturbating to something out there. No
yeah,
kink shaming, but I'm just saying, everyone's got their thing, man.
yeah, but the original was definitely my favorite. Like, I really want to get like a tattoo of the original Sonic design. Um,
You got to do it when he's toe tapping, when you're sitting there on idle screen for the longest time. He's like looking at his watch, like, come on, man.
um, yeah, I have an interesting quip about that in a little bit. Um, so yeah, Oshima was really into leather jackets, emblems, and airplane nose art at the time. So originally, before he came up with the idea of Sonic, um, he presented like basically it was Sonic, but as like an old surly pilot, like brave pilot. The pilot had the nickname Hedgehog due to the way his hair always stood straight up, and the nose art on the plane was of Sonic the Hedgehog. Um, so Oshima eventually married an author of a children's book, and one of her books is the story of the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. So, um, yeah, they kind of just like repurposed that character as Eggman and made the game about the actual hedgehog instead, which very good move.
Yeah, just like some surly old like World War II veteran running around. You're just like, shouldn't you have a false hip or a walker at their
dementia and
get away the Germans.
So yeah, then when they were designing the levels, they kind of primarily wanted it to be a way to like show off the Sega Mega Drive and like what it could do. So it was like a lot of smooth courses with like loops and a lot of like enemies and rings being drawn on the screen and stuff. So like you had the jump pads and like the fast paced level design. Um,
You said Mega Drive. One of us has to say it. One of us has to say it. Are you gonna say it or am I gonna have to say it?
you go ahead, buddy.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Well, that was that was the Genesis marketing.
That's
with
what I'm saying for the Mega Drive. Yeah.
the blast processing.
Oh, blast processing. My bad. My bad.
um, but I mean, yeah, the whole blast processing thing kind of is, I guess, tied to Sonic because Sonic did like release as a pack-in game for the Sega Genesis. But yeah, the whole thing of like blast processing was just a term that they made up to beat Nintendo at their own game. I don't know. It was weird. Um, but yeah, they like it kind of worked though because they were designing the levels to kind of like feel like an amusement ride, like a roller coaster or something, since like you have like the loops and all the stuff. So it really worked. But the designers like were kind of like inexperienced. It was a pretty small team. So they would just like sketch out the designs on like with a pencil and paper. And then they'd show it to an artist, and then they would work with the artist to figure out how it could work in like a video game level. Um, and then they were also limited by the hardware, so they could only have like 64 parts to the map in each zone. So um, they kind of had to get creative, and like I guess it took a really long time because even with like the enemy designs and everything was so similar, they'd just like draw it by hand and then show it to an artist who would then discuss on if it could be implemented or if it should be implemented. And all like the even like the animations of like Sonic rolling up into a ball and different things happening were all drawn out on paper. Um, so Oshima didn't really know much about animation. So what he actually had to do was um scrub through anime footage frame by frame to like figure out how things were being animated so that he could then like do it himself on paper and bring it to his artists.
That actually makes sense on how just smooth the sprite work is actually in that game. I mean, granted, it was from the 16-bit era, but no, at the same time, that does make sense on just how smooth and how good that game looks. Because you compare that to like Miyamoto working on with Mario and Nintendo. He's just kind of
Yeah, there's like three Mario animations.
so no, that does actually kind of make sense on just how good Sonic the Hedgehog works. If I do remember one thing about blast processing, how like you said, it wasn't actually a thing, but it was like a marketing ploy. Was it that the Genesis actually had a better sound quality than the Super Nintendo did?
Um, no,
Really?
no. Like Sega, you can't really say that either sound chip was better than the other because they're completely different. Um, like the Super Nintendo could actually play like samples, like kind of like wave samples or whatever. Where I don't think the Genesis could. Maybe the 32X could, but like the Genesis did have better sounding like bass and things like that. But they're kind of a little too different. A lot of people get kind of worked up about which one is better, so I'm not going to say for sure.
Okay, I get you there. Never mind. I guess I've just whenever I've thought of Sonic, I've just thought of the bright colors, simple images, great animation to it in terms of smoothness, and then a bitchin' soundtrack. One that beat out just about every game I could think of on the Super Nintendo.
It did have a really good soundtrack, and it's kind of one of those things where the Genesis what did have a lot of games with great soundtracks, but a lot of the time, if a game came out on both Super Nintendo and Genesis, that the soundtrack on the Genesis version would be worse. So, and I think that's just has to do with like the sampling, like I was talking about. But for the sound design, they actually refused to like hire a composer like within Sega that was used to doing video game music stuff, and they hired someone like from like the actual music industry in Japan. Um, a guy named Masato Nakamura. Um, he was given the job with only like conceptual artwork of the character and like the team like explaining how everything was supposed to come together. And then he just like had that limited information and just began to compose. He he didn't want to treat it as game music, but like more like a film score, which is I guess probably more like what he was used to anyway. Um, but he he was inspired by such 80s movies soundtracks as Top Gun, Flashdance, and Dirty Dancing. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Isn't that crazy? Yeah, Dirty Dancing.
What?
Yeah, no, like, and it had a really good soundtrack. I mean, probably not quite as good as Sonic Three's soundtrack with, Michael Jackson's input on that.
I was wondering if you're going to bring that up. I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
Yeah, we're only talking about the first game, um, because the movie is more closely tied to the events of the first game, technically. But yeah, like they pulled out all the stops and got Michael Jackson to help compose the music for Sonic 3, which is probably some of the best Sonic music like created yet. Um,
We can honestly say, you know, Sonic 3 touched the hearts of a lot of kids, and those kids, a whole lot of touching in the production of Sonic 3 event too. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I had to do it.
But yeah, by the time the development of Sonic was nearing the end, um, a small group within Sega, like research and development, like decided to call themselves Sonic Team after they had spent over a year working on Sonic. And Sonic Team is still active to this day, and a lot more than just a few people. But yeah, it's kind of just interesting that it was like it's a small team of people after spending so much time. We're just like, yeah, I guess we'll just like call ourselves a team, even though it's not really official yet. Um, but yeah, Sonic ended up being released in 1991, and like I said earlier, it was bundled in with Genesis consoles. And I mean, you can kind of guess the rest. Like Sonic is freaking huge, has been freaking huge. They can release terrible game after terrible game, and everyone still loves it. So
The past 20 years of that have been been paramount to that phrase he just said there.
But yeah, God, I love Sonic. So yeah, what'd you think?
Of the movie or Sonic in general? No.
Just I guess either one. Like, did you really play Sonic when you were a kid, or has it?
A little bit. I guess I should say before I ever played a single Sonic game, I actually grew up with the second Sonic the Hedgehog series. Not the first one with Jaleel White. The second one with Jaleel White. I know that's descriptive.
With the NBC one or the Deke one? It's a good question, huh?
Yeah, no, I was trying to do a little bit of research there before you were gonna drop me into this one. I'm like, I gotta find this out quick. Not the one that is basically supposed to be inspired by, say, like the Looney Tunes. The one that is a little more episodic and stuff like that. That was the one I remember seeing a pretty good amount, so I knew who Sonic was.
Like the one that had like some more like darker overtones and.
Yes, that one.
That was the good one.
Was that the Deke one?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So the other one, they basically said, you can go ahead and suck our Deke on this. Sorry.
And if I am wrong about that, I apologize. I know if some Sonic fans listen to this, they know way more than I do. So if we have any information wrong, that's my bad.
Having been railroaded before by someone with a PhD on a subject that was then talking to me, and apparently I made some sort of mistake, because again, I have 2 associate's degrees. Ooh, shame on me. But anyway, yeah, no, some of you guys out there that are giant Sonic fans, y'all deserve some sort of an honorary degree at that point. May it be from Hamburger University on the way all the way on up to Oxford. You go. But yeah, no, you're probably gonna rip us a new one on this one.
Well, and Sonic, it's not just like the TV shows and the games. They also have the Archie comic books, and which fun fact about the Archie comic books? One of the writers of those comic books is helping to write the second movie.
Ooh.
So
Interesting.
a lot of people are really excited about that.
Wait, there's a second movie? And it hasn't been explicitly marketed towards me via YouTube for the past 2 weeks? What? It's almost like we're doing some kind of brand synergy or something like that right now. The release of this episode.
Yeah, I mean, with all the news and like, if anyone hasn't heard about the second one yet, I mean, it's been all over my newsfeed. But I'm also a big Sonic fan. But they announced a game along with the movie too, Sonic Frontiers, which I had heard about a couple months ago, but at the time it was just a rumor because Sega had patented the name Sonic Frontiers. And there was a rumor that it was going to be an open world game. So of course everyone's like, "Oh, Sonic is just making a Breath of the Wild," and it's like there's been so many open world games that aren't Breath of the Wild, so that
Like
comparison kind
Sky.
of sucks.
Yeah, no, it's Sonic Skyrim. It's Sonic GTA 5. It's Sonic Far Cry. It's Sonic Skyrim
it's
again for a new console.
it's hopefully gonna be its own thing and be very good, but we don't know much about it.
I kind of hope Sega just pulls out of the tank. They just pull up the old programming for Prototype, and they just put a Sonic skin over the top of it, so it's him running through there, just like ripping people apart and stuff.
But yeah, and then Sonic also, like, I guess just like in general, like Sonic had like arcades and stuff in the 90s. Like Sonic was huge. Even in like Bayonetta games, because they're licensed by Sega. Like instead of coins, you collect Sonic rings.
Oh, you scared me. I thought you were gonna say like she like spreads her legs for a second and Sonic comes flying out.
I mean, it might as well be. But yeah, so there's been a lot of Sonic and some good, some not great, but I'm here for it all. I love it. But no, I guess we do talk about Shadow the Hedgehog, but people actually want a Shadow the Hedgehog game. Just give them a couple more SMGs, you know. But anyway, how'd the making of this movie go?
The making of this film has been a gigantic development hell nightmare for the better part of nearly 30 years. Actually, from basically studio to studio, Sonic the Hedgehog bounced around. Let's put it this way: there's so many actual studios that have had this. Everybody from, sadly or funnily enough, not Disney though. Universal had the rights for a little bit, bounced all the way over to DreamWorks,
Oh,
which was kind of interesting because we almost had Steven Spielberg's Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, he would have produced it, not actually done that. But the biggest name that was actually attached to this for the longest time, then there were words like they kept saying every single year, "We're making a Sonic the Hedgehog movie." Was actually going to be Sony. But if you think
oh,
about it, it's kind of funny, just with the pedigree behind it. Sony basically dethroning Sega as well as everything. Yeah, no, Sony almost did it. Yeah, no, Sony almost made a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, but then they relinquished it in the mid 20 teens here, and Paramount was the one that picked it up here. Which, well, we were rewatching the movie. I was making the joke to Levy. I'm just like, Jesus, Paramount owns all of our childhood at this point. They've got Transformers, they've got GI Joe, they've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, those monsters. And yeah, here they are now with this. I mean, hell, actually, Paramount, they're the people who first released the Marvel movies before Disney bought out Marvel.
Yeah, and you know, as much as I like Sony Pictures, I think Paramount was the right people to get a hold of the property.
Definitely
For
on
sure.
that one. Thing. So for the production of this, they had everybody come in. Actually, Reese and Wernick, the guys who wrote Deadpool, they actually submitted a script treatment for this. There's this giant laundry list of all these people, of all these like actual like writer directors that are like, we really want to do a Sonic movie because we played the games back in the day, a lot of fun. I think we've got a treatment on this. Forever to finally actually grab a good screenwriter for it. The thing that kind of still blows my mind a little bit, the executive producer on this was Tim Miller, the guy who directed the first Deadpool.
Oh, I can kind of see that.
Here's the thing about Tim Miller, though. He had nothing to do with the second Deadpool. But he was also the whipping boy for the newest Terminator movie. And I'm just like, oh, Tim, you poor buddy. You poor buddy.
I think I've seen the second Deadpool, but I don't remember it. I did enjoy the first one, though, so.
I like them both. I'm just saying, but he was not the voice that was on the second Deadpool, is what I'm just kind of joking about there. Gotcha. But no, Tim Miller, then he was the executive producer on Sonic. Here, he kind of helped shepherd it. Like everybody and their mom came through trying to make this movie for as long as they could. And for the longest time, they had a hard time cracking it until they cast Jim Carrey as Robotnik.
Oh,
I mean,
what great casting.
I call it inspired, but at the same time, it's not even inspired when you go, hey, Jim Carrey, I want you to be in this movie. It's pretty much just printing your own money. Unless it's the number 23. Or really, Christmas Carol.
I think one of the reasons I like Jim Carrey as Eggman so much is because like they could have easily just gone with someone who's a little chubbier, maybe looks more like Dr. Eggman, but they went with the guy who was just over the top and cartoony, like Jim Carrey. So it was such a good choice.
I just thought of who they could have also done. I mean, you just have him grow a mustache, which, I mean, we know he can grow a great beard. He'd be able to grow a great mustache. Can you imagine, had this gone the opposite route? Jack Black as Eggman?
Jack Black would have been great. I thought you were going to say Danny DeVito for a second.
That's just cheap. Anytime it's a video game movie, people go, it should have been Danny DeVito.
It's true, but I think Danny DeVito could pretty much be put into any role, and whether he fits in that role or not, it's going to be a better movie because of it.
Oh, and it's had a flashback to the Penguin from Batman Returns. Just eating a fish in a political rally. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, gotta love Danny.
Oh, God, yes. Mr. DeVito, wherever you are, please, we beg you, be in Detective Pikachu 2. You are our only hope.
Oh, man.
That mouse screaming at you like Danny
DeVito. If Danny DeVito voiced Pikachu, that'd be hilarious.
Well, that was who they kept saying for when they were working on the movie. They wanted it. Spoiler for our Detective Pikachu episode, but I just realized Detective Pikachu 2. You have it be Danny DeVito as Detective Pikachu, and then whoever the nemesis is, it has to be Joe Pesci. Because can you imagine the knockdown slug out of Joe Pesci voice in one Pokemon, Danny DeVito voicing another one? Just
that'd be hilarious.
Short, pissy little Italians screaming at each other the entire movie. Call me in!
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Beginning, I got 20 on the fat one!
Yeah, but Jim Carrey, he did a great job.
He did. Apparently, something along the lines of he said that he basically looked at the script for what Eggman was supposed to say. He would glean the top of it, and then he would just vamp for about 20 minutes. And whatever they could salvage, they put on film for the most part.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I heard something earlier today that was like, it took him like a couple weeks about just to get like into the role of Eggman because he's a method actor.
I said the joke once, I'll say it again. Jim Carrey puts the meth in method acting.
Yep. But yeah, he killed it. I'm really excited for the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess we should also kind of maybe talk about the one elephant in the room that is all of this movie. And why there's no cameo by Chris Chan. No. The famous bit where they completely had to go back in and rework the design of Sonic from the ground up. Trailer for this movie released. want to say it was the end of the summer of 2019. I remember seeing the trailer and going, what the fuck is that thing? Oh boy, that was a thing.
Well, then they had that one poster where he was like sitting on the bridge with his like legs out. Like all you could see was his like legs and feet, but it looked like the bridge was his penis. And that was, I think that was before we even saw the face the face that they put on that poor creature.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't remember this, if you successfully blocked it out, or you're more well-adjusted adults than both Lebby and I are, and we both saw that picture and went, "Oh dear God!"
They gave him human teeth. Why? Why does he need human teeth?
It's to watch that original trailer, it's disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen horror films, like major ones, in the past 10 years that haven't scared me as much as that Sonic the Hedgehog rendition did. Oh no.
Yeah, the internet rightfully so freaked out.
That movie was supposed to come out Thanksgiving of 2019.
Yeah.
The internet's fervor about it pulled it. They spent 5 months back in the actual special effects computer warehouse changing the entire design to such an extent it bankrupted that studio. And though Sonic the Hedgehog was one of the top grossest films of 2020, thank you, COVID, they still had to file for bankruptcy and are completely shut down now, which is
so sad.
It's sad.
Well, wasn't it? Oh wait, no, I'm getting that mixed up with the Mario movie. I was gonna say, wasn't it like animated by some people that were with like DreamWorks? But no, that's the Mario movie that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm so glad that they redesigned it. I mean, I would have seen it either way, but it was a much better movie with Sonic that was cute. You know,
We gotta make it look realistic. The funny part is, apparently, while Paramount was saying, yeah, we gotta go for more realism and stuff like that, the director who did this, who is normally like a kid's animation director, said, "Are you sure that's a good idea, Paramount?" And Paramount said, "Well, that's what we did with those Ninja Turtles, and everyone loves those two movies, right?"
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. But yeah, I personally love this movie. I will talk a little bit about my experience with the movie. Today was my 5th time seeing it, and my first time seeing it outside of theaters. I saw it in theaters 4 times in 2 days.
I saw the film with him his 4th time, my first time. I saw it twice in theaters. The first time I saw this film while sitting next to him, I was in a full suit because I had just come from Valentine's Day dinner. So it was then my date on my left-hand side and Lebby on my right, who was holding my hand through the entire film.
I love Sonic, man. I can't not, you know. But yeah, I saw it at midnight when it released, and then I saw it the same day after work with a coworker, and then the next day I saw it twice, once with my niece and once with Elmer. So I really really like this movie. It's like campy enough. It's like good enough that an adult can enjoy it, not just kids. But Sonic does floss like twice. And it's not quite the Incredible Hulk dabbing, but it is still obnoxious.
That is the one thing that on my reading, all of the corny little inside jokes they put in across this film, from references to the original Sonic the Hedgehog TV series with him being obsessed with chili dogs, to the Sonic the Hedgehog joke of Crazy Carl and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All the little in jokes they had spruce up the entire thing. The director and the writers put in basically out of love, and they said, hey, it just kind of came organically, because they're like,
Yeah.
they're like, we know this isn't a serious movie. It's a movie for kids. It's a movie for fans.
Yeah.
They're going to have fun no matter what. And so they said, no, just making these jokes. We just said, screw it. Just don't even hide it. Just put it right up front. Just be like, hey, by the way, the town they're from, it's Green Hills.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat and stuff like that. Which, you know what? I kind of respect them. So it's not like they're hiding the stuff in the background.
And I, in theaters, the first time I saw it for sure, like when Crazy Carl holds up the crayon drawing of Sonic, oh man, I was like, oh my god, they put a meme in it. Was so, oh man, I just love it.
What, you don't remember? Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Let's see, my camera's frozen.
Oh no.
Happens every time.
I'm going to be scratching my balls forever at this rate. Well, not again. At least it's not buffering back and forth. Hey, we're back.
Happens every time. I just need to get a new capture card. But yeah, the movie, I guess, is kind of like the origin story for Sonic, where he comes to Earth as a little baby, and he has these rings that can create portals to other worlds. And he has to like hide his power, so I guess he like grows up in secrecy and ends up being friends with this cop and like getting discovered by Eggman, and hilarity and pursuit ensues.
Was Cyclops the one redeemable cop from 2020?
I don't know.
They say Montana in this, but considering the entirety of this production was done in Canada, this is a Canadian movie in my mind. So, you know, Canadian cop, that I could stand behind. It's close to being a Mountie. It's close to being
I think it would have been funnier if he was a Mountie. But, I mean, yeah, it's great. It's like, there's a lot of references in there that you don't need to catch in order for the movie to still be great, but like just enough to like keep Sonic fans like happy. They just did a great job, and I think it got like a little ridiculous, like at the bar scene when Sonic like basically just like stopped time for 5 minutes, and, like fuck with everyone at the bar.
If I could turn back time. Sorry.
And then that Dr. Eggman tank that like keeps getting smaller and smaller to chase them. Like when he blows it up and he flosses in the middle of the road, it is pretty cringy.
But at the same time, they know exactly who they're marketing to.
Yep, exactly.
They're marketing to video game fans and children. Well, in which those two things can be mutually exclusive. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved it. It ends up in like a big fight between Eggman and Sonic. And like Sonic ends up like using one of his ring portals to send Eggman to this world that's only mushrooms.
Oh, not the magic kind.
Not that kind of mushroom. And then the day is saved. Sonic is living with the cop guy in secrecy, and everything's good. You find out at the end of the movie that Tails is now on Earth, so looks like the next movie is going to have Tails and Knuckles the Echidna, voiced by Idris Elba.
Which is awesome. The voice of Tails in that is actually a gal who has voiced Tails for the better part of almost 20 years now, which is pretty cool too. So,
and I'm so excited for the second movie. There's like this.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually excited for it too. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's this joke of like Idris Elba tweeting like, guys, I'm not gonna make Knuckles the Echidna sexy, and it's like, that's impossible.
Because one, it's Idris Elba, and two, it's Knuckles the Echidna. Also, maybe Growl.
I mean, the Sonic fandom is
the horniest of fandoms.
It's right up there with bronies.
In terms of people I do not want to talk to at a convention. Okay, got it. Okay, that's a joke out there. I have a Pinkie Pie tattoo on my ass cheek, and if you start donating to our Patreon, you'll get to see that picture.
uh, yeah, so we get a nice little teaser for the second one, and yeah, loved this movie. Was it a bop or a flop for you, Elmer?
Definitely a bop. Like I said, I saw this film twice in theaters. We had a lot of fun both times seeing it. Sitting back and watching it this time, seeing a bunch of great Canadian character actors pop up in it. The great Gary Chalk, aka Optimus Primal from the original Beast Wars. He's always just a treat to see. Oh god, the Olive Garden joke at the end of this film is still one of my favorites. It's just so
Because
befitting.
they're family.
$50, a $50 gift card to Olive Garden. Still great. But no, I mean, this movie, it is a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, I saw this movie on Valentine's Day, wearing a suit, holding one of my best friend's hands in the theater. And no, I still had a great time seeing it.
Yeah, it was definitely a bop for me too. I always liked, usually liked anyway, the like Sonic TV shows and stuff. So like once they announced the movie, I knew I was gonna love it. But it was actually good despite just being about Sonic. So definitely a bop for me.
I guess I should say the one thing that did bring it down a little bit for me. I was promised Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise in that original trailer, not on the soundtrack.
Oh, God. I'm so glad they didn't put that song in.
I wonder why. No.
But yeah, so let's wrap it up here. If anyone wants to know where they can listen to the audio only version, you can go to anchor.fm/game-link. And then there you can find where to listen to us on all audio platforms, as well as watching us on YouTube. There's a link to that there. And then you can catch us on Sundays. We usually stream the podcast live at 5 p.m., but today we did it a little bit late. If you want to support us, you can subscribe on Twitch, of course. That's twitch.tv/Levy, or you can support us on Patreon, where you'll get access to our Q&As and bonus episodes when we do those, and a bunch of stuff. So that's patreon.com/GameLink.
And on top of that, you can check out some friends of ours who last week, the main reason we didn't actually record, I was on some friends of ours' Thor's Hour of Thunder podcast, where I was talking with them, as well as with my better half, Archangel. We were talking about Black Christmas, the 1974 film by Bob Clark, the guy who directed Christmas Story and Baby Geniuses.
Yeah.
And then after that, then we did Elves the next day. But yes, no, if you guys want to check those guys out, they're a lot of fun to hang out with, a lot of fun to listen to at Thor's Hour of Thunder.
Yeah, Thor's Hour of Thunder. I've been on their podcasts once now. We're planning another guest star on there, so hopefully we'll have a couple of them on here eventually too. But yeah, we're gonna get this ended here and do our Q&A. So stick around for that. We'll be just like a couple minutes. Everyone, we'll see you soon.
Stay safe, stay sexy. Happy New Year.